What's up people, David here, welcome to WhatGear. Today I'm out late at night to test out the Poco X3 NFC. Now, this phone is just £169. I thought it was £200, but for £169, you get, in my opinion, probably the best bang for buck that I've seen all year. No question of a doubt. 120Hz screen, a 5150 milliamp hour battery, and a camera system that doesn't outperform everything in its class, but does have very good software and really interesting shooting modes in there. So in this video, I want to check out some of the more unique shooting modes that you will find in the Poco X3 NFC. So let's go with the Poco X3 NFC. Now this phone is only £169, but for that you only get 64 gigs of internal memory. Now if you pay $249, they double the memory to 128 gigs, and I would say if you can afford the extra 80 quid, then it's definitely worth doing because 64 gigs will run out in no time. Still a bargain if you ask me, and usually I'd be quite critical of companies that choose to only put 64 gigs of memory in a phone in 2020, but when you consider everything else that's in this phone, and the fact that they're making it available at such a low price, then I think it's a really good move. But anyway, let's get into the specs. So you get a 6.7-inch Full HD Plus IPS LCD display with a 120Hz refresh rate and Gorilla Glass 5. There's HDR10 Plus support, and it has a hole punch selfie camera. The main camera is a quad system with a 64 megapixel main, a 13 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel macro and 2 megapixel depth sensor. Now that setup is quite common, especially among budget phones, but it's not the tech in the camera that has impressed me, more the software. The selfie camera is a 20 megapixel unit and it runs on Android 10 with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 732G, and as I said before, 64 gigs or 128 gigs of internal memory with 6 gigabytes of RAM. MIUI 12 is quite a distinctive operating scheme. Some people may like that it does vary quite a bit from stock Android, and then others may dislike it. I quite like the fact that it's unique, it kind of has its own identity. This phone also has a 3.5mm headphone jack as well as an FM AM radio, which I always like to have because let's face it, if the apocalypse does come and all of our internet doesn't work, the only thing that's going to work is this phone because it has an FM radio. Yeah, but nobody listens to FM radio. Yeah, but if the apocalypse comes and there's no internet, you're gonna wish you had a headphone jack in your phone, innit? Because they're gonna be telling you, go here to avoid certain death, and you're not gonna hear it because you got a Note 10 and you didn't buy a Poco X3 NFC. See? You need to have a phone with a headphone jack near you, because if it all kicks off, what are you gonna do? Huh? What are you gonna do? You get your 5G going, yeah? No, your 5G ain't gonna work. The only thing that's gonna work is AM FM. But this video really is about the shooting modes, and I want to start with the night mode. Taking a look at this first picture, which was taken as the sun was going down, so it wasn't completely dark, but this first picture is taken just using the normal photo mode, and you can see that even though the street is quite well lit, there is a little bit of motion blur there, meaning that the stabilization isn't really working well enough to keep it still long enough to get a sharp image. But if you switch to the night mode, then that extra sharpening does come in quite handy, and it makes the picture look a lot more pleasing to the eye, if a little bit artificial. You can see the same sort of thing here. This was taken with the ultra wide angle camera, which does have a narrower aperture at f2.2, but out of the two main lenses, it's not the strongest one. Switch to the main camera and we get a much sharper image despite the relatively low light, although it does have quite a strong green tint to it. There is no dedicated telephoto lens on the Poco X3 NFC, but the main camera does have a 2x optical zoom, and you do get fairly good results even with the night mode, which isn't always the case. Usually with the telephoto lens, they don't really work well with the night mode. I found out even when you're not using the night mode, the Poco X3 NFC's low light abilities are actually quite good. It's only really let down by the stabilization, but it does go for low noise, long exposures. As you can see in this image here, I actually prefer the normal photo mode shot to the night mode here. This sharpening kind of detracts from the image in the long run, but as long as you can keep the X3 NFC still long enough, then you can take good low light. So while I was up on that roof, I thought I would try out the portrait camera, and I really wasn't expecting too much as the conditions are less than ideal. Yes, there are some lights up there, but all in all, it is pretty dark, especially for a smartphone camera. The results speak for themselves. We got to remember this is a cheap phone, £169 phone. I'm really happy with what they've delivered. Sharp, low noise results, which is exactly what you want. But one thing to take note of is that these are the largest files that this phone tends to produce, even larger than the 64 megapixel files. They come out around about 40 to 45 megabytes, which doesn't sound like too much, but before you know it, 20 portrait shots is pretty much a gigabyte's worth of data. So it's just something to be aware of, especially if you go for the 64 gig version. So if you go to the More tab in the camera app, you do get quite a few interesting shooting modes, as I've been alluding to for the whole video. Night mode, we've gone over night mode. 64 megapixel mode is the same as all these other cameras with the 64 megapixel mode. You can shoot super high definition 64 megapixel stills with this phone, but you won't get any of the benefit from the AI. So you won't get any of the assists or HDR effects or zoom in or anything like that. You just get a straight up 64 megapixel image. Vlog is an interesting one. It gives you a set of templates, it lets you record a 4-second clip or a bunch of 4-second clips, and then it mashes them together and it kind of makes like a weird sort of music video for you out of your clips. But it's quite effective, and it's, you know, if you have a little bit of thought about the shots that you're taking, you can get some really nice vlogs from it, or vlogs I guess you call them. Under the slow motion tab, you get a choice of 3 frame rates and 2 different resolutions. 120 frames per second, you can shoot at 1080p. If you go up to 240 frames per second, then you have to drop down to 720p. And of course, there is the 960 frames per second, but of course, only shot at 720p. So nothing really interesting or new there, but you know, it's always nice to have those super slow motion shots. I have actually spent quite a bit of time under the long exposure tab. You get moving crowd, neon trails, oil painting, light painting, starry sky, and star trails. Now, starry sky is kind of a new shooting mode that's been added to a lot of mobile phones recently, and it just emphasizes the stars in the sky, and it actually does pick up some stars that you can't see with the naked eye. I'd love to be able to try out that in a real dark sky area, but I live in London, and you know, you have to travel for miles before you get away from the light. The best bet for me is to do it in my back garden, because that's about as far away from any lights that I can get, and that's not really very far. I really do like the options that they've given you under the long exposure shots. All these are possible with DSLRs, but it does take a bit of skill to be able to get them. This just puts it into your phone and makes it a one-button process, which purists will hate, but I think it's a good thing. And finally, clone is quite interesting as well. You get either photo or video mode. It allows you to take your shot, move your subject along to another position, take another shot, and so on and so on. One little thing that has surprised me about this phone is that it has a very good quality screen protector come pre-installed when you buy it, because a lot of these, even high-priced phones, don't have very good screen protectors. Now hear me out. What do I mean by a very good screen protector? Some of these screen protectors are total junk, and within the first couple of days you're going to want to be taking it off, because it will be scuffed, there'll be smudges on it that you just can't get out, and it's just a nightmare. And eventually you take it off, and then you can see, it's like an epiphany, you can see your screen again. So for this low budget phone to have a good quality screen protector, I mean, I've genuinely been using this phone properly. It's been in my pocket. I'm not really being softly with it. It's built solidly, it's big, it's thick. It's not the prettiest phone in the world, it has to be said. It really is a bit of a beast, but I don't mind that. I like the squared off edges to it. It feels substantial. You know, you can watch something on this screen. It's got stereo sound. I mean, £169 and it has stereo sound, and it sounds really good. If I'm being really critical, it could do with a little bit more volume, just like a little bit more volume. But other than that, I'm really happy with the sound. Sometimes these side-mounted fingerprint scanners can be a little bit annoying because they don't give it a click. Some of them don't have a click, it's just a touchpad. So when it's like that, when you just pick up your phone, you accidentally unlock it a lot. I mean, if you have your finger assigned to that finger, which I do because it's the closest one or the easiest one to use, every time I pick it up, I've unlocked it. Or worse, by the time you're ready to unlock it, it said that your fingerprint has failed a few times and you have to put in your PIN. So it's nice that they've made this one a click. Plus, you can choose whether you want to just tap it or whether you want to depress the button to unlock, to activate the unlock, and that I like that. So far I've said some really nice things about this phone. I've even gone as far as to say that it's my favorite budget phone of the year, and that is 100% true. There's a lot to like here: a large battery, a good quality screen, a decent camera system, and good software. Only let down slightly, in my opinion, by its performance. And I don't want to beat up too much on its performance, but there are times when it does take a second or two to, say, go back to the home screen or to perform certain tasks. For me, that is definitely not a deal breaker. I mean, I can wait a second or two, but it is noticeable with some tasks that the speed is not really there. Now, I'm not sure if that is down to the processor or it might be down to slow memory. I'm not sure that you can call the processor sluggish. It is a brand new chip from Qualcomm, but building smartphones is about compromises between performance and price. And there's so many other good things about this phone that I do forgive it sluggish performance now and again. And that was the Poco X3 NFC. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Hit like, hit subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And I will see you in the next video.